Ready to find out what's in this box, Genevieve?
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. Do you have any guesses? Zoom in on this label. Does it give you any idea what's in the box?
Actually, no, because I don't know what that means.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. It'll be a complete surprise for you. Now, I gotta say, the box is not all that heavy compared to how heavy I think it would be. It feels like the entire box is like 10 pounds. So I'm hoping I didn't get shorted on some of the items therein. You know what I'm saying? Spinning around. Oh, I think the stuff is in here. It is in here. Holy cow, the entire setup is not all that heavy. This is a little platform to stand on when you're hunting. What do you think of that?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Not that heavy. This, I'm betting, yep, it is all here. I'll be darned, man. That is some sticks to get you up a tree so that you can stand on that platform. What do you think of that?
That's pretty cool.
And then this, you know what this is? You have a guess? It's a saddle. Holy cow, is this a complex mess? Joey's like, there's no way Dad's going to make that work. But he's sure going to try. I think you put it on. You step through it there. I'll put it on now.
I think you put it on.
I think you put it on.
Is that what you said?
Holy cow. So I think that's what you do. You put it on like this, and then we're going to be hooking ropes to this. Oh, it's so comfortable already. And you just hang from a tree like this. This looks pretty legit, huh? Awkward pause. The fact that I already got in this means that so far this is a little easier than a tree stand harness for me. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
She has to sort out my tree stand harness every time I wear one of those things. I've always had a love-hate relationship with those. But this is pretty, so far, you know, pull those up, tighten them on here, put the ropes on here. Getting up and down in a tree is going to be a whole different experience for me, but let's see if we can make it work. Continue this process until you are at your desired hunting weight. I'd like to lose 50 pounds. How's that sound? I think they mean height. I got 2 ropes that came with it. One's a lineman's rope and one's a tree tether rope. You know how I know which one's which? Because one of them says tree tether rope and the other one says lineman's rope. Actually, I would have made each one a different color to make it a little easier to separate the two. They're both red and black. Red and black's pretty cool though, huh? See, it's a sign of things it's meant to be. Right?
It's a coincidence, Dad.
No, it's a sign from above. It's the crossbow gods telling me that me and Bunjie III, the slick black Cadillac, should be hanging from a tree with one of these things. All right, we're going to see if this is going to work or not. I'm out here to take a test run with the Trophyline saddle. We got the climbing sticks. I got the platform we're going to use there, a little GoPro to take a little time lapse of it. I am in the 60-yard backyard where the family can keep an eye on me if I'm laying on the ground. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'm going to climb this little cherry right here. This is my 60-yard cherry. This is where I put the target. I'm standing about 60 yards from the crossbow balcony here in the 60-yard backyard. A little bit big, but you're never going to have the perfect tree, are you? We're going to climb all the way up there. No, I'm just kidding. We're not climbing that high. Really, I'm just going to set it up. Do one climbing stick, the platform, hang, see if I can get the gist of it, right? Make sure I get my head around what we're doing. Once that works or doesn't work, I can either send the saddle back and call it quits and put my tail between my legs and admit defeat. Only one way to find out. That didn't go well. The saddle's attached to a tree. I, however, am not attached to the saddle. I had to take it off. I'm glad I didn't try this in the woods and go real high. I got up, got on the platform, got everything strung up good, and the saddle slid off me. Went right down. Without suspenders, I am not going to be able to use a saddle. That thing just went right off of me. My build does not support saddle hunting. It's really easy to be embarrassed by this, but I'm just going to tell you, that's a fact. It's just something to look out for, right? I got all cut up getting off of there and everything, man. It's pretty nasty. I was holding on to that tree for dear life. That was a no-go. So I'm happy that I survived round 1 of my attempt at saddle hunting. Well, I made it into my tree saddle. Pretty impressed with myself. I'm a foot off the ground. So here it is, hooked in here, right? Got my little Prussic knot into my tether. We're gonna go out wide here. Let's go wide. Can we zoom wide? Can you do that, phone? Could you do that just once? And we got our carabiner here all cinched in, locked in, hooked in to my saddle. I'm on my platform. I got that all figured out on there. As you can see, I'm about a foot off the ground. 2 or 3 feet off the ground. I'm right at parking level. It isn't as comfortable as you might think. Like, I don't feel like I can sit. Get my hands out of the way. Still getting comfortable with this thing. You're hanging a tree. I don't think this is as comfortable as sitting down on a bench. Boy, that's a fact. Like here, I can see why they got knee pads. First of all, standing is not my thing. I'm not going to stand the whole time I'm hunting. Although this is comfortable. You can watch deer, blah, blah, blah. But if I go down like this, right, and put my knee against this, all of my body weight is against that. So you would have to wear knee pads. Pants are not going to cut it. This is not going to work to lean like that. Actually, leaning against that rope felt a lot better than leaning against that bark. This is a hackberry, which is about the roughest bark in the world. But this is the only hackberry I've ever had on a property that I was at. So it's pretty cool. I'm very happy with this little guy. We pruned him good. I got rid of that pine tree so you'd have more sunlight and more room to flourish. Enough of that. So you can stand like this and lean back. This is not uncomfortable. I'm leaning back. All my weight is right on this little rope right here and this carabiner. So, and now I still don't like the way I have this carabiner. I really want this up here, I think. I keep flipping them because they don't look right. Like this I don't want in, so I flip that out. And I also want the small end up here for this rope, right? And the fat end down here for where the saddle goes around my fat gut. But I gotta tell you, I mean, it's a well thought out piece of equipment. But I can tell you, knee pads are probably gonna be something. Sitting like this, and they say different people, you want to adjust this for comfort. Like if I put this up higher, I might be more comfortable. Make this a little longer, might be more comfortable. But I don't want to lean back too far. But I feel 100% safe leaning here talking to you. I could easily, let's see, where could I shoot? I feel like I could hold the crossbow and shoot right here, no problem. And the nice thing about a saddle is I'd face this way, right? I want to face the way the deer are coming in, just like you would in a tree stand. But I've got the tree, spindly as it is, between me and the deer, right? So I'm here and the deer won't see me as much, and if they're over here I'll lean back a little bit. I'll just lean over here a little bit, right? And lean right over here. To see the limbs on the crossbow are going to hit this. I'm trusting my whole life on that rope. These are very well built, I got to tell you. I've had climbers before and hang-ons, and I didn't feel nearly as comfortable. All I'm going to take away from this is that I feel pretty comfortable standing on the platform. I feel pretty comfortable sitting in it, hanging in it from a tree. I need something to hold it up because I bought the biggest one they have, and I think I'm going to need that, not just because I'm a big guy, but also because when you get into hunting seasons in November, I'm going to be wearing a lot more clothes. So I needed to fit around all that stuff. It does not feel as though it's too big. It just feels like it's all ready to fall off of me at any given time. So I need suspenders. Isn't that funny? But I'm going to put suspenders right in it. I'll loop my suspenders right around. There's plenty of hoops and loops and whatnot on this, and I'll just use those. Went and got some knee pads. What do you think of those? These are out of the garage. These are my flooring knee pads for taking out carpeting or whatever else. Makes all the difference in the world. I don't know if I'm going to invest in the fancy ones because these seem to do the trick. Clean them up maybe. I mean, definitely clean them up. They have Velcro. That's a little loud in the woods, but frankly, you know, probably can wear them in. But I'll scrub them up good so they aren't all stinky and sweaty, and then wash them in scent-free detergent to fix that problem. But I can tell you, a lot more comfortable to sit like this. I can sit like this for a while, then sit like this for a while, right? Get on there good, and then I can stand up for a while if need be. You can sit like this, put your heels on the platform. That seems pretty comfortable. In fact, I think I could do this for a long period of time. Death by Bunjie tree saddle practice time. How about that? I got the old Prussic knot, whatever. I'm just trying to use words that make it sound like I know what I'm doing, but I'm hanging in my saddle and I am all set up. I think I figured out how I'm going to be filming from this thing. What I've been doing is coming out here after work and sitting for half an hour, playing on my phone, just getting comfortable hanging out in this saddle. And so far it has worked pretty good. I feel pretty comfortable in it. I finally rigged up a little doodad here for filming. I got that figured out. I'm only up one step. I got one step hung up here, and then I get on the platform. Give you a view of what I'm doing here. So that's my camera arm. I've got it on there with a ratchet strap. I think I can make that work. Here is me hanging in my saddle with my sloggers on there, but just hanging out. Nothing fancy, just got the old platform going so I feel comfortable in it. I'm only 6 feet off the ground or something like that. I'm one stick up. So we're not taking any big risks here or anything like that. But what I am doing also, in addition to getting comfortable with it, I'm trying to visualize what it'll be like if I'm sitting here with a deer coming in from this side or a deer coming in from this side, how I'm going to be shooting these deer. I can hang. I feel pretty comfortable with this thing. Like, I feel comfortable enough that I can swing around a tree like this and hang out here and hold the crossbow and shoot. But the tree kind of gets in the way of my left arm. There really is only one way to know if you're going to be able to shoot out of here. I really got to bring Bunjie III down here and see if I can reach around this tree, put a target down there and shoot at it. But if the deer's here, like, I can just stand and shoot off here. But when we start moving around like this, I'm going to have to be hanging and dangling. I don't feel uncomfortable dangling, leaning, and putting all my weight onto the saddle because it's all in the saddle right now. Like, this thing's holding me up right now. I'm going to rig up a different ratchet strap for the camera arm. That ratchet strap I don't like. I'd like to have that arm up higher and make it more adjustable. I really like cinch style ratchets, right? They seem to hold enough. They'll hold the camera arm weight. That camera arm is. It's a Gorilla arm that I bought years ago. I don't think they sell them anymore. I don't think they make one from Gorilla anymore. I could be wrong, but I bought it, never really used it, but I like it. I really like it. It's a nice little light. It doesn't move all over the place, but it gives me plenty of ability to pan around the tree. I can shoot out in here, okay? I could view over in there, and I can video over there, and it looks like a branch sticking off a tree. It's not bad. It's going to work. That I'm happy about. It's just getting it up and down the tree, getting it set up, getting around it to get onto the platform, that sort of thing. I can dangle it from my saddle and hook it up last if I have to. Once I'm in the platform, in the saddle, then I can hook that up. So I think we're making some headway here. Hold you out so you can get a view. This cherry tree, don't climb cherry trees. This just happens to be a convenient tree in the 60-yard backyard. You haven't seen the 60-yard backyard from this angle, have you? That's the house. That's the apple trees all dressed up for winter. Look at that. They got little skirts on them, taking care of the old apple trees here, back in the apple tree business. Well, guess what I'm going to do? Talk about changing your plans at the last minute. Come back from Maryland, had a great time down there, but it was only 4 days of hunting, right? Basically 104 different days. And, which is, it's morning to evening, constant, non-stop hunting. So you are very tired, right? Because you don't get a lot of sleep, but I didn't. And it really kind of wears you out. But it also left me with wanting to do more hunting. And we're in that lag between the early crossbow season in Maryland, early mid-September, and we don't open here in northeastern Pennsylvania until October 1st, Saturday. So that's 2 weeks, a 2-week lag. And my equipment is still 100% dialed in. I'm still itching to get out there and shoot some deer and hunt some deer and explore new territories and conquer new lands with Bunjie III. It came to my attention that part of Pennsylvania opens early, right? Part of Pennsylvania is already open. So I'm taking the day off of work. I just decided this yesterday over lunch. Genevieve and I were sitting there in my office having lunch. She's just eating her lunch there. She works with me now. Works in the same building with me. So she has lunch with me. And we're just sitting there talking. We were looking at maps and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm going to go down there tomorrow and hunt. And we saw a map of a state game land. Looked really promising. I'm just going to go drive down there this morning, scout until 2 o'clock, climb up in a tree and see what I can do. Made it to stop number 1 along the route here. Checking out this place, doing a little scouting. I feel like a real hunter here, a real big-time hunter. But it's not what I expected it to be. It's like a field of sunflowers that they put in, probably for doves or something, I don't know. But that's not really going to feed deer, I don't think. Beautiful view out here, too, but it's all dead soybeans. Those will be palatable for deer at some point, just not right now. I've got plenty of time to drive the perimeter of this state game lands section, and I'm going to look for where the ag fields are in the neighboring properties, and then try and figure out on the phone where the bedding areas would be within the state game lands, and then I'm going to try and get between those bedding areas and the agricultural source for these early season hunts. That's my overall strategy. It's not much of a strategy, maybe, but it's pretty simple. but maybe it'll work. If I had planned this a little bit better, I'd make a phone call down here and ask them what they've got planted in these various fields. This is a game commission field, state-owned land, but it's, you know, it's fallow. They haven't done anything with it. Barren land, so nice open shot there. Man, some thick bedding down in here. I wish there was, if there was food here, every deer in this county would be right here. Not exactly deer food, although you might see a squirrel or two working on these things. Big old walnut. I am crazy. So I made it up in a tree using a saddle. I found apples. Can you believe that? Doing my e-scouting. E-scouting, how cool is that? There's some things they don't tell you about saddles. The challenge of the saddle is not the saddle. No, it's the climbing. But I finally think I got that figured out. It took me about half an hour to get up here. I don't even have all my gear up here. I'm not even going to bring it all up here. I ended up taking my backpack off and throwing it down there. When it was about halfway up, I couldn't take it anymore. But now that I'm up here, I feel pretty good. I feel nice and safe. I have a nice view. I'm only 3 sticks up. Somehow I lost the one ratchet strap for one of my sticks. So I'm not very high in the air, but I'm up high enough for my purposes for the first time. I'm pretty proud of myself. So there's this whole big old field where they can bed during the day. There's a bedding area down below me. I think they're gonna come out right here about dark because it dips down. Nice little draw that they can come up, catch the thermals as they come up through there and smell me. But at least I'll be able to swing out of the way, see them coming up there, maybe get a shot at somebody. I'm gonna give it all I got. I am ready. Bunjie III is ready. And I guarantee we are going to shoot a deer tonight out of a saddle. Guaranteed. There's no guarantees in this business. Come on. No guarantees. I write about that in my first book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story. I write about that in my second book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Method. I will write about that in my third book. I'm betting you. Feel like a carnival coming to town. Holy cow. I'm wearing my saddle, wearing my scent lock. I'm carrying Bunjie 3.0 right here. Got that all set up, ready to go. And I have that mess, trying to carry that into the woods. Man, they are not convenient to carry. One of the myths I can tell you right off the bat of saddle hunting is mobility. Ooh, they're so mobile. Somehow I got to carry that and that into the woods. I don't know how that's mobile, but whatever. Everything is a pain, right? There's no easy way around it. I kicked the doe out. She was sitting there the whole time. I knew that was the case. She's back up in this autumn olive right here. So I will not be shooting that doe tonight. Well, I made it. Yes. Gotta bring the crossbow up. Hang Bunjie III up here with me. And we're ready to kill a bigot. Bunjie III and I did not get a shot opportunity at the well-pad food plot. Can you believe that? Kind of a disappointment, I know. We're feeling the final touches of Hurricane Ian, or Ian. Feeling the tail end of that, so hopefully that's over with and we get back to deer business as usual here this week. The saddle saga continues. I brought the saw with me. I am going to trim some of the last branches on this hemlock right here so that I can climb up and get about 12-15 feet in the air. That'll tuck me up above these hemlock branches here where I can shoot down over them and into this food plot. Oh yeah, that's the ridge staging food plot. Doesn't that look sweet? I think it turned out really nice. Pretty proud of that. I probably could shoot the way it is, but I'd like to have at least a headroom to get up higher if need be. Which sparks an interesting question. If I'm cutting branches in order to prep the tree, if I have to prep the tree, what's the point in using a saddle? I might as well just put a tree stand up there. The truth of the matter is a 2-man ladder stand right here would be perfect, overlooking this, and you've got all this hemlock that stays on here all year long, blocking your movement. The deer come up out of the bottom. They wouldn't see me in a ladder stand either. Now, in the past, you might remember what we did is we put a blind right here. You can still see where the blind has been in the past. In our view, I'll stand right where the blind would be. Really, can you beat that view? Ooh, I don't think you can. I have my shooting lanes perfect for a blind. Look at this. Oh, all those shooting lanes, and still a little breakup, right? And I actually shot a nice buck here. Remember, he came in from over here, and I got some long distance zoomed in telephoto footage of him coming through here, and then he milled around, and he was waiting for that doe, trying to figure out where she was going, and then he tried to shortcut, get across the ridge staging food plot. Didn't work. It slopes downhill real good here, so if you look down in here, that's where the deer are going to be coming up out of here. They're going to make their way up this ridge and around and come in the bottom of the food plot. That is historically what they have always done. They will also come over the bank over there and feed right in here and come right up through here and feed in this plot and work their way up, getting into range. Right here's the tree that I'm going to be in, and that's a nice hemlock. I don't want to damage it. It's a nice saw log eventually. Bunch of saw logs. Nice hemlock tree. But my shooting lane will be right over the top of these branches right down in there. I really don't have to get up all that high because the ground here is actually higher than where the deer are going to be coming in. So they won't be, I'll be up out of their view. Plus there's all this hemlock through here that gives a nice breakup. Early in the season, you got a lot more breakup with all the maple and stuff down in there too. But man, that's going to be gone here shortly. The cool thing about this is that hemlock is big enough. If I can shoot around it, that's the other problem with these things. But if I can get up there with a saddle, I still got a shooting lane out here, and I can hide behind the trees. The deer are coming up, so they don't really see me. So I don't necessarily have to be all that high because I'm behind a tree. That's one of the advantages of the saddle. All I need to be able to do is shoot off to my right. So I'm going to put the platform on this side up the hill. That'll block me from their view as they're coming up, along with all these branches will block my view, their view of me, but also my view of them. But then when they feed in the plot, I'll be all set, ready to take a shot. Remember when hunting used to be so easy? You basically just grab your crossbow, go down and sit in a tree stand. Well, those days apparently are over. Got bags of stuff. I got to put on this contraption, whatever that is. I got the saddle on there. Bunjie III is patiently waiting for me to get dressed and get ready to head down into the woods. Somehow I got to carry all this stuff down. Man, these things are pointy. They're heavy and grabby and hurty. They poke you, prod you all the way down here. Still a work in progress. Well, I made it up here. I'm in a really big hemlock, and one thing I am finding out, that as beautiful a tree as this is, I can't shoot out of this. I'm all the way up here. I'm only up 3 sticks. 3 sticks is far enough. I've got a perfect, if I went up higher, I'd be just having to shoot through some more branches. But what I've got trimmed, it's perfect. Just not gonna work. I have to shoot with one hand.
I have a solution though. And no, it's not a chainsaw. Just cut that whole tree down. I'm going to get a blind. I'm going to walk all the way over there to that food plot that Genevieve and I put in. I'm going to pull the blind off of that. I'm going to sit over that food plot and shoot a deer. Well, had I been thinking, I could have hunted over this food plot. That's not the best looking thing in the world, but it's the same crop. It's the same ryegrass. I didn't bring my gear with me. There's the other blind. I even got a nighttime blind over there looking this way on it. It didn't grow everywhere, but it grew enough that I could sit in this blind and shoot a deer, but I'm not going back to get all my stuff. It's got a bench, a blind, all I need. It is asking an awful lot to try and shoot a deer an hour after I set this blind up. But the way I look at it, every deer that's ever been in this food plot, when the blind was here, at some point was in this food plot when the blind was here for the first time. So, why not tonight? Wearing a saddle. I've been hunting that well pad food plot, and I hung in a saddle and spooked deer, had them spot me, and deer picked me off when I was climbing the tree because it took me an hour and a half to get all set up with that saddle. So I went and got a tree stand, put a tree stand up. With Genevieve's help, we put up a 2-man ladder stand like I love a 2-man ladder stand. Bunjie loves a 2-man ladder stand. I love you, 2-man ladder stand.